So what is the device on the end of my calipers that I use when I'm measuring my reloads? So it's what's known as an ogive comparator. And what it does is it measures to a location on the ogive of the projectile rather than measuring to the point of the projectile. So now the reason for doing that is because if you take measurements to the nose of the projectile, you'll notice that they vary as much as 10 to 15 thou from what I've usually seen. So the reason for that is just the way the projectiles are manufactured. When they're swaged, they bring the points together and run them in a press, and the excess material flows a little bit through the points. So you want to measure a location on the projectile that is hard formed by the die, and that is going to be the ogive. Now this is the Hornady comparator set. Most of the other ones I've seen operate in a similar function. So what you usually have is you have kind of your universal base, and this is what is going to mount onto the blade of your calipers. So you want to get that pushed down and seated, tighten the tightening screw, and now that is going to be set. And then we've got our different caliber inserts here. So we've got 22, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, and 30. So now depending what you're loading, you just pick your caliber. So let's go with a 30 cal for my 300 PRC. We're going to seat it down to the bottom, tighten the lock screw, and we now have our insert. So we turn it on. So we'll go down, and now we'll zero. So now this is going to be our zero measurement. So this is now our base point. All right, so now let's measure a cartridge. So you insert the point of the projectile into the comparator, and you can see rather than measuring on the point, it measures down here further on the ogive. And this will be what's known as cartridge base to ogive measurement of 2.914. Let's try another one. 2.9135. 2.9135. So let's take off the comparator, and now we will measure from cartridge base to the point of the projectile and see if it is as consistent as we were getting before. So 3.7625, 3.7635, 3.760. So these are pretty consistent bullets, actually, going by this end measurement, but you can see there is still more variation there than we are getting with the ogive comparator. And as I mentioned before, I've seen up to 10, 15 thou variation just because of the way the points of these are formed. But now one thing to keep in mind is that even with the comparator, not all comparators are going to be made the exact same because they are measuring a point on a curve. Any small variation in the hole size of the comparator is going to give you slightly different results. So even if it's the same comparator from the same caliber from the same company, if they're two different ones, you still may get slightly varying results. So you always want to make sure you're using the same comparator throughout your measurements to keep them consistent. So there you are. There is what a comparator is and how you use it. So if you guys are interested in getting one, I do have links in my bio to these. I do try to keep links to everything that I use through my processes, stuff that I use that I trust to recommend to you guys. So if you guys are curious about some stuff to get or some gear, I usually have everything linked or posted over through those links in my bio if you guys want to go check those out.